call the Senate Housing and Homelessness Prevention Committee to order. A quorum is not present, but we will not be taking action just yet, so we will proceed. So to set the stage, today we're going to hear two bills, Senate File 327 and Senate File 805. And the first item on the agenda is Senate File 327. Senator Dziedzic, if you would approach the dais, podium, not sure what you call that. Welcome, Senator Dziedzic. If you would introduce yourself for the record and proceed with your testimony when you are ready.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair, members of the committee. It's good to be back to the Housing Committee. Thank you for hearing Senate File 327. This is a bill to provide open access connections funding to help extremely low-income individuals with reliable, consistent communication to help with their search for housing, employment, and health care. Think of how much you depend on your cell phone and how much you panic when you can't find it. Think of what it would be like to not have access to any phone service. Open Access Connections provides their clients with voicemail services so they have a safe and secure place to receive messages from prospective employers, prospective landlords, their children's schools, doctors, and other healthcare providers. These services give them a dignified path to self-sufficiency. Open Access currently partners with many agencies and nonprofits across the state, from legal services in northwestern Minnesota and southwestern Minnesota to rural Minnesota concentrated employment programs in Bemidji, Moorhead, and Fergus Falls to volunteer emergency services in Winona. They partner with workforce centers across the state and with the Minnesota Department of Veterans. With me today to testify is Mark Erpelding, Open Access Connections Executive Director, and I think I have it right, Monster Herring, who is a past client and current outreach worker. This funding will be able to help them expand more in greater Minnesota. Thank you again, members, for hearing the bill, and I will ask to pass it off to the testifiers.
Thank you, Senator Dziedzic. Mr. Erpelding, please introduce yourself for the record and proceed with your testimony.
Hello, my name is Mark Erpelding. I'm the Executive Director of Open Access Connections. Open Access Connections is a nonprofit organization that has been providing free community voicemail since 1994. Each year, we provide the simple, cost-effective tool to over 2,800 homeless and low-income Minnesotans. Community voicemail remains an essential communication tool for our most vulnerable neighbors. 74% of our clients are experiencing homelessness and 92% are unemployed. What's great about community voicemail is its simplicity. An assigned community voicemail to a person in need takes less than 10 minutes. And upon completing registration, they are provided with a number that they can immediately put on resumes, housing applications, give to friends and families, and communicate with their doctors. Individuals are able to access their messages through any phone. In today's society, it is impossible to successfully job search without a phone number or find adequate housing applications. Literally, if you are unable to provide a number on a job application or housing applications, you cannot compete in our fast-paced and technologically driven society. With access to this basic communication tool, homeless and low-income people are directly empowered to achieve their housing, employment, and self-sufficiency goals. The importance of community voicemail can be summed up by one of our clients. All the years that I was homeless, community voicemail was the only reliable communication I had to reach employers, respond to jobs, communicate with relatives, and receive messages with doctors. This is definitely a necessity if you don't have a landline phone or a cell phone. I recommend for anyone that's homeless, it is a necessity. We are able to offer community voicemail through partnerships with 315 Minnesotan and nonprofit government agencies, including homeless shelters, career force centers, and VA programs. 45 of these partnerships are located in greater Minnesota. Each partner agency has a staff member that has been trained to use our voicemail system and is given a set of community voicemail numbers that can be directly assigned to their clients. This funding provides approximately 30% of our budget. 20% of our budget comes from individual contributions and 50% from local foundations. Although we are always on the lookout for additional sources of revenue, this source of funding is the most reliable and stabilizing for our organization. Loss of state funding would put our organization on a path that would be fiscally unsustainably in the long term.
Thank you, Mr. Erpelding. Next, Mr. Herring, please introduce yourself for the record and proceed with your testimony.
Hi, my name is Monster Herring. I'm with Open Access Connections. I help set up voicemail. One of the things that I find with people coming to get voicemail, they don't have regular credentials like sometimes driver's licenses and other things that they need in order to be able to get a cell phone or something like that. Sometimes they're just straight homeless. They have mental issues, and being able to get voicemail gives them the opportunity to be able to stay in touch with their family, friends. If they have to call a doctor or get some kind of medical help, they have a way of somebody getting back to them so that they can know that they've reached the people that they want to get to, or they know that they have a doctor's appointment set up and they can go to it. And it's very helpful to them. And seeing so many people out there now with mental illness and people that can't get a cell phone or something like that, or have an actual place to live. Constantly when I'm riding on the bus or the train, I see people sleeping on park benches, winter and summer. And these people need the voicemail at least to have some kind of contact with the rest of the world. That's it.
Thank you both for your testimony.
Thank you.
Members, any questions? Senator Lucero.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And just a couple questions for the bill's author. The first one is I'm seeing a dollar amount, $85,000 referenced on line 1.6, and I'm seeing a dollar amount of $15,000 referenced on line 1.12. I just wanted to confirm my understanding per reading the bill. The relationship between these two dollar amounts, is the $15,000 coming from the $85,000, or is that separate or in addition to?
Senator Dziedzic.
So I might ask for a phone a friend here, but my understanding is $15,000 each year must be used to increase the use of and access to community voicemail outside of the 7-county metro area. So we do $80,000, $85,000, and then $15,000 each year that they do. They said to make sure it goes to Greater Minnesota, and I'll ask if Mr. Mueller will clarify that to make sure I'm correct.
Madam Chair and members, yeah, the $15,000 is part of the 85. It's not in addition to it. And I will note too that the current funding level in the current biennium, they are getting $70,000 per year in the current biennium.
Senator Lucero.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And so a follow-up question would be, so my understanding, well, I have a follow-up question and then pertaining to the question I just asked. So since the 15 is coming from the 85, then that means of the total amount here, only 17.6% is being steered to outside the 7-county metro area, which means more than 80% is being steered or directed towards the 7-county metro area. That seems a little imbalanced, if I'm reading that right.
Thank
Senator
you.
Dziedzic.
Thank you, Madam President. Thank you, Senator Lucero. My understanding, and Mr. Erpelding can correct me if I'm wrong, but my understanding is they do have partners throughout Minnesota, and so there is money going to Minnesota, throughout Minnesota. They want the flexibility to go where the need is. So if there is more need in rural Minnesota, the money goes to where the need is. This just kind of puts it to make sure that a portion of it is going to Greater Minnesota, but they are already serving clients throughout Minnesota, will continue to serve throughout Minnesota, and the flexibility in this bill allows them to go where the need is.
Senator Lucero.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you for that, Senator Dziedzic. The second question I have is why is there anything that's prohibiting any existing technologies, virtual numbers, Google Voice, that would allow for the same phone number, voicemail capability, a voicemail being converted to text and then emailed to a person or text to a person? Why spend money when there's technologies out there? Google Voice is just one, but there are a multitude of other services out there that are free of cost right now. Why not go that direction?
Senator Dziedzic.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you, Senator Lucero. We had this same discussion 2 years ago, and so I'm going to hand it off to my testifier, because I think he can better answer that question.
Yep. So
Mr. Erpelding.
there is a couple quick points to that. One is a service for like Google Voice. Their target audience isn't going to be homeless and low-income people. the service of Google Voice, their primary motive is to get people hooked up with their phone number, with their Google Voice number. If you were to apply for Google Voice, the first thing that you would be asked to do is provide your regular phone number to verify, to connect it with the Google Voice number. The second point with a service such as Google Voice is you need a certain level of technology capability and access to utilize those services, which a lot of times homeless and low-income people simply don't have. With community voicemail, we are able to directly provide the number to the client in under 10 minutes and not have to worry about internet access capability or having an existing number to set up those services.
Senator Lucero.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Well, Google Voice could be set up in less than 10 minutes. A unique phone number be produced for the client. You can, and you're absolutely right, it does have to be linked to another phone number, but that could be linked to a phone number at your facility. And then the person could still dial in at that phone number. Or they could access it from a web browser. So I didn't hear anything, Madam Chair, in the response we just heard, why, again, Google Voice is just one, but there are a number of other services out there that would not be able to be used as a substitute for this rather than increasing money on this. I say where technology exists and everything that you're doing and said is already available right now for free and equally as accessible to those that are challenged right now with homelessness as would the technology that you're servicing, having to call in to listen to voicemails. It's already there. So thank you, Madam Chair. Just comments for the record.
Any response to that, Senator Dziedzic or Mr. Erpelding?
No, just other than just the reality of the user base of community voicemail have numerous barriers where fully utilizing a service such as Google Voice would be prohibitive of.
Okay, thank you. Any other, Senator Draheim?
Thank you, Chair. And thank you, Senator Dziedzic, for bringing this forward. And we've had discussion over the last couple of years on this. And I think we all agree how important to have some type of communication is, you know, to help people progress. We need that communication. And I think what Senator Lucero was getting at it is important with technology constantly changing. But I want to change gears just a little bit there. And can you refresh me and maybe educate the newer members on the committee on the federal programs or the federal program that is available for this demographic? And if that is being used by this organization or other organizations out there, and what, just kind of share the differences between the two programs.
Senator Dziedzic.
I'm going to hand it off to my testifier. Thank you.
Mr. Erpelding.
Yep. So our organization, our mission is providing phone access to homeless and low-income people. So we are very familiar with the Lifeline program that's administered at the federal level through the FCC, and then have also been strong supporters of the program. So currently, through the Lifeline program, you are able to provide, complete an application for a cell phone. The challenges that we have with the Lifeline program is that it is a federal program, which obviously means there's going to be federal rules. So people would need a state-issued photo ID. They need to have proof of low-income verification, and they'd also need to complete the application. And a lot of the people that we interact, they're very much on the margins. A lot of times they don't immediately have the state ID with them. They may have their EBT or other proof of low-income status in process, and they are not eligible right then and there to complete their Lifeline application. So that, in many ways, community voicemail, it really complements that program because it provides us with something that we can offer them until they get the necessary barriers overcome for those services. And also, too, a lot of times, even if they do get a cell phone, they're constantly on the go. They lose their cell phones, they break their cell phones, and they're not immediately able to apply Again, a lot of time community voicemail helps fill that need gap.
Senator Drahan. Any other questions or comments, members? All right, thank you very much. This bill will be laid over for further consideration.
Thank you, committee members, for hearing this bill, and I ask for your support.
Thank you. All right, members, the second item on the agenda is Senate File 805. Senator Champion, welcome to the committee. Please proceed.
Well, Madam Chair and committee, thank you so much for having us with you today. We know that the work of this committee continues to be important, and we thank you for taking the time to consider Senate File 805. You know, I was thinking, like, what am I going to say, right? You know, just really starting off this important and rich conversation that you haven't already heard already. But I think about my own home, and I think about how excited I was when I knew that there was an area that I wanted to live in and that I wanted to have a home in a particular place, and how it was going to feel. And to me, that continues to be important when I think in terms of a community and a neighborhood, and how we stabilize that neighborhood, and how kids have better educational outcomes because they know where they're going to sleep and they know where they're going to go. As far as school, what is also interesting is because homeownership helps to build wealth. Right now, if you were to dig in my pockets, you would probably find lint, because I have 2 kids that are in college, and so thank God for having a home where you can use it as an opportunity for collateral or anything else that you tend to believe is important, but also to be able to hand it down to our children. So Build Wealth is a program that he'll briefly talk about, but they have programs about giving people safe, reliable, and affordable housing. Home ownership is the foundation, as I mentioned earlier, in a informal way, generational wealth, and reliable housing increases educational outcomes and public safety and economic growth in our community. In Minnesota, we cannot forget this, has the 5th largest racial home ownership gap in the well, this state does in the nation, right? And this bill will work to reduce barriers for our BIPOC communities. Investing in this program and the other programs which are working to intentionally address home ownership disparities in Minnesota will help ensure that our housing is funded and targeted to communities which need it most. And we believe all communities need it, but we have to make sure that we be very intentional about what we do. You know the statistics, and I'm sure that David McGee, who's with me from Build Wealth, is going to talk about some of those things and lay the appropriate landscape and context for this request. But just so you know that we are asking for money for both what we are calling 9,000 equities, and he'll talk more about how they're working to make the case for Black home ownership. And then programming that Build Wealth does that helps people around financial literacy and understanding and connecting them to first buyer resources and all the other things. So with that, Madam Chair, if you allow, I'd love to hear the testimony that can be provided to you all in context by David McGee, who is the President and CEO of Build Wealth Minnesota.
Thank you, Senator Champion. And just to note, we now do have a quorum. Would you like to, do you have an author's amendment, Senator Champion?
Yes.
Would you like to address the amendment first or do testimony first?
You know what, if we can put the bill in the shape that we would like, if one of the members will move that amendment, that would be great.
Anyone like to move the A2 amendment? Thank you, Senator Drahan. Moves the A2 amendment. All those in favor, say aye. All those opposed? The motion passes and the amendment is adopted. So Senator Champion, to your bill as amended, and we will now hear testimony from Mr. David McGee. Please introduce yourself for the record and proceed with your testimony.
Thanks, Madam Chair and members of the committee. My name is David McGee, and I'm the Executive Director of Build Wealth Minnesota, and we've been around for about 18 years. Started here in St. Paul at the Griggs Midway Building. Now we are housed in North Minneapolis, and we have been working to actually do what our name says, help families build sustainable social and economic wealth. We do that through a very comprehensive long-term program called Family Stabilization, where we take families through almost like college and to unlearn some things and to give some really intensive information and education around systems and breaking cycles and creating budgets and savings. And ultimately, the goal is to get a number of them into home ownership so they can begin to start building wealth. We are a community development financial institution where we provide community services as well as some lending products, which are developmental products that we get through grants and different organizations and banks all come together to kind of help us to transition families from non-traditional predatory products into more sustainable, stable products. And we usually work with about 12 to 1,500 families a year in this process, and we typically get about 300 families a year into home ownership. And so since 2005, we've been working really diligently trying to address the disparity gap here in Minnesota. I guess the senator had mentioned that we have one of the worst disparity gaps in the nation in terms of home ownership. And in Minneapolis, we have a 19% home ownership rate for black families. In St. Paul, it's at 16%. When I first started, it was at 32%. So we're going the wrong way, as a matter of fact. And so last year, we started an effort with a lot of help with a lot of stakeholders, as you can see in the handout. We've got a number of banks and a number of foundations and other stakeholders who have all started helping us to create opportunities to get more families into home ownership. And so we launched the 9,000 Equities to try to get 9,000 families into home ownership in 7 years. And we've been doing it utilizing the education model, utilizing different resources that we've been aligning. And then we also, in 2014, we did a proof of concept of creating a loan pool, because some of the traditional loan pools that are in the marketplace still are elusive to a lot of families of color. And there's still some challenges and barriers that some of those, even the good community loan products still cause us challenges with families accessing the ability to get into home ownership. And we started a targeted mortgage back in 2015. We proved it out working with Minnesota Housing, and we just launched it again last year, and we're seeking funding to grow that pool to help some of the families that are still having challenges and barriers that are set in the marketplace with accessing home ownership. As many of you will probably know, the interest rates have doubled in the last 6 months, making it even harder for families to get into home ownership. So it requires us to do something a little more strategic and trying to use a different type of loan program. The underwriting guidelines for loans for home ownership have been about the same for the last 70 years without changing. And at the time that underwriting criteria for helping families to get into homes were created, not many people of color were actually buying houses at that time. And so those haven't changed over decades. And so utilizing some of these targeted loan pools that we're asking for funding here today is something that we're hoping that you'll support for us to get more families into home ownership.
Thank you, Mr. McGee. Senator Champion?
And Madam Chair, just so that we're clear, Bill Wealth has been getting roughly $1 million from the state $500,000 a year since around 2015, 2016, I think it was. And now this pool that we're asking for $10 million in fiscal year 2024, that is from the general fund to the Minnesota Housing Finance Agency for a grant to build wealth to establish that fund that Mr. McGee was talking about, that targeted loan pool that will provide affordable first mortgages or equivalent financing opportunities to households struggling to access mortgages in underserved communities of color. So they have the goal, they have an impeccable reputation, they have a great relationship with the Minnesota Housing Finance Agency, and we had some great robust discussion about it last year, so we're hoping that this committee will continue to support it and really support both aspects of it. So that's what we like, Madam Chair, and we'll stand for any questions.
Thank you, Senator Champion. Questions, members? Senator Draheim?
Thank you, Chair Bolden. Mr. Mueller, right now in base, it's 500 for this biennium. Is that correct?
Madam Chair, Senator Draheim, that is correct. It's 500,000 per year is in the base.
Senator Draheim?
Thank you. And then this would increase it to 2 million in base moving forward for the next biennium?
Madam Chair, Senator Draheim, correct. The bill as amended would increase it to 2 million per year ongoing.
Senator Draheim?
Thank you. And then Senator Champion, and then you're asking for 10 million to set up this new loan program or expand the loan program that you've started. And I have been impressed with this organization in the past, and we've had discussions about this. My one concern has to do with the footprint of the program. And if I could ask Mr. McGee, what counties do you currently cover? Chair. Thank you.
Mr. McGee?
Madam Chair, right now we have been covering the 7 Metro County area, and actually we've been reaching 11, as a matter of fact. And we've also had a few families that we've worked with in St. Cloud as well. And so we've been expanding just recently. Last year, we started expanding our capacity down to Rochester as well. And so, and the influence of our program working with Minnesota Housing, we started the Family Stabilization Program and presented that to Minnesota Housing in 2015. And they adopted the model, and they started the homeownership capacity program that is is statewide now, and there's about 25 organizations statewide that are part of the homeownership capacity program, which is a direct model and influence from Bill Walsh's Family Stabilization Plan program. And so we anticipate working, the 9,000 Equities Initiative is a statewide initiative, and is the goal to close the disparity gap for the entire state.
Senator Draheim?
Welcome.
Other questions or comments, members? All right, Senator Champion, any closing comments?
Just closing comments, homeownership is important. David McGee and Bill Wuth, they have an impeccable footprint and influence in the marketplace. Mr. McGee was also a banker at one time, right? And doing a number of different things. I should say a recovering banker. Should I say a recovering banker? But that capacity and that understanding just only helps to improve this program and the reach. And he continues to build solid relationships across the state and with other stakeholders. So he's not trying to be a siloed program, but one that has the ability to reach a cross-section of organizations and people. So thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Senator Champion.
Thank you.
So we will be laying this bill over for further consideration.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
So members, next week, that concludes the bills before us. Next week, we will be meeting on both Tuesday and Thursday. Notices will go out about that later this afternoon. And being at the end of our agenda and no further business, this meeting is adjourned.